the steam we call dance, you let them. You see the steam we call dance, you let them. 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 Yeah, dance, you let them.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very exciting edition of the Immigrant Magazine Weekly. I am so pumped because Afrocentric music is making waves. As you know, Afropop and Afrobeat from Africa are changing the narrative about African music on the global music scene. If you're a music lover, you're always paying attention to the new trends. And so here we go. Electro Afro-Funk, a new genre from African-born Los Angeles-based artist and producer known as Kendrum is born. This genre is a fusion of Afrobeats and house. Imagine Burna Boy, Fela Kuti, and Manu Dibango all put together. I'm excited to have him on our show to talk about his powerful music, the Elevation of Kendrum. And I also want him to talk to us about what he thinks is the future of Afrocentric musical genres on the global music scene. But before I bring Kendrum to the show, let's do the honors. If you're not subscribed yet to our channel, please do so now by clicking on the subscribe button here below and also liking us so that YouTube will share our videos and ring that notification bell so that you will be notified when this content is released. And of course, do me the honors. I know you love what I do, so do me the honors and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Anchang and follow us or like us on Facebook at the Immigrant Magazine. Without further ado, let's welcome, drum roll, Kendrum to the show. Kendrum, thank you for really honoring us with your presence on our show today.
No, of course. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Welcome.
It's an honor for me too. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Kendrum, you just got up and created your own musical genre, right? I just kind of my brain around. You're so bold, so fierce. But before we go into your music, tell me a little bit about who Kendrum is.
Okay, so the Kendrum was created here in Los Angeles, and that's from me living here after moving from Cameroon at age 19 in 2008. It's a cumulative experience of my life in Los Angeles as a Cameroonian immigrant, and all the things I experienced, all the emotions and growth. And I've always been interested in art and music, and the best way I found to express all these things I've described was through music. And Kendrum that's how Kendrum emerged, you know.
Wow, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Now, I just have to disclose this because you are my sibling, you are my baby brother. And I left
That's right.
Probably when you were like about 4 years old or something. And there are pictures of us where I'm like your mama. I could be your mom. So,
Yeah.
And of course, I did not see that side of you as an artist, as a singer or someone interested in music, because I was here all these years.
Mm-hmm.
So how did music manifest in you? Because I know where we come from. When you say you want to be an artist, they're like, oh no, you don't want to go to school, you want to be a mom. So how did music manifest in your life growing up?
Really early. I really remember, the most I remember was when I was maybe, I'd say around 8, 9, 10. During that period, I used to walk. When you used to send, pocket allowances every now and then, and I will use mine actually to walk to the discotheques, the places where you make, mixtapes or cassettes. I'll make myself a playlist and I'll take it over to a guy, and he will record that for, he'll give me the list of songs and my cassette tape. I started spending my money instead of buying candies and whatever, making cassette mixtapes, and at such a young age. And our cousin will walk with me because I was too young to do that by myself. And, we'll walk there, and I did that every summer. I did that every, what we call third term holidays. When that came around, whenever I had a little bit of money, I would spend that to make myself a mixtape for whatever it is that's new or that I discovered. And those cassette tapes really were an expression. That's how I gradually started to understand what it was like to put music together, to have a certain emotional flow on, the A side and the B side, So yeah, that young, yeah.
Well, to have a mindset to money, I mean, didn't used to come easy. And trust me, I was working hard for those dollars and dimes. So to take that money and instead of getting yourself a nice shirt, but you used it, you invested in using your craft. That is passion. Yeah. Did our parents know that that's what you were doing?
No. Barely. No, I don't think they knew for a while. I think they just knew that. I think I hid for a while. It was my cousin's, mixtape, because he lived with us, and and yeah, that was they had no idea, of course.
Well, now they know. Now they know. And fast forward, you came to the United States. You lived with me, with my husband and family, and I did not have a clue that you had that music, not just the gift, the appreciation for it. I tell you what, the day I listened to your music the first time, I was blown away. You remember my reaction?
Yeah, I remember.
Blown away. Yes. So how did the music evolve to where you are now?
Okay, so when I moved out here, I was going to a community college, living with you, West Stella Community College. I became friends with this Congolese American gentleman, really great guy. And, I remember having conversations with him. He would drive me home back then. I had a bicycle. So he would put the bicycle in the trunk. I would drive you home. He was a really nice guy. So I remember talking to him, and I kept repeating this thing to him. I said, if there's a set of people who I admire the most, are people who are those who are brave enough to just go for what it is that they want to do, no matter how ridiculous it is. And I never told him what my thing was because I was afraid, I was ashamed, all of that, because I hadn't even built the skill set yet. It was just, I knew that there was something that I had to participate for the universe as well. If people are being brave enough to pursue things, even partially, that they're passionate about, I already admired them living with you. And one night, Charlie, your husband, he took me to what is called Afro-Funky night. That's in Santa Monica. And it was, that sparked something in me that night. Afro-Funk really was Afro-Funky those nights. They had DJs who will, take music from the 60s, like Fela Kuti and all, Manu Dibango, all these African pioneers from the 60s and coming up, and they will, DJ that music and they're European, and these were European guys. And I looked at that and the trumpet playing mixed with their house music, all of that. I was just blown away. And that's when that seed was planted in my head. And I knew, okay, at some point I want to be able to participate in that space, either as an artist or just a connoisseur, whatever it is. I just knew that, okay, at some point I need to be a participant in this.
Wow. What really is standing out for me right now is the fact that you were brave enough to follow that passion, because I have musical passion. I've been told by some that I can sing. I mean, I'm not professional trained, but I'm one of those people that likes to sing, right? I know a lot of people like to sing, and given the opportunity and some training, they will do amazing, but they don't really follow it. But you follow your passion, and our parents love to sing. They sang in choirs, in big cathedral choirs and stuff like that. So to an extent, I'm not surprised that you have that thing. We all have that thing. But then you came up with something completely different from not choir singing.
No.
You decided to go a different route. Tell us a little bit about your creation, which is Electro Afro-Funk. Did I get it right?
Yep, that's it. Electro Afro-Funk. Electro Afro-Funk, that's what it is. Yeah. So it's inspired by the same space that I experienced that night. The electro part is I'll pull from all the electronic music genres. That could be trance music, that could be dubstep, it could be deep house, whatever it is. Their use of synths and their heavy bass, and fuse that with African music, especially Central West African music and also South African Afro house. And I started experimenting with that when I was in college, back in my early or mid to mid 20s, and I played around with it for so long, and I started to fall in love with the fusion that I created for myself. And I say for myself because I was the only audience for so long. I'll make music and at midnight I'll stay up all night just listening to it on headphones, just dancing by myself in my bedroom or in my living room, right? So I wanted to, and the some of the biggest influences into the Electro Afro-Funk, developing that sound was what we call Afrofuturism.
Mhm.
And Afrofuturism is an aesthetic of science fiction and technology of the African diaspora. And what that looks like is what the world saw in Black Panther, right? Right, the way they dressed, science fiction, but it's still African, and the empowerment in that. So my music and the album, The Elevation of Kendrum, and Electro Afro-Funk, I wanted to create the soundscapes of Afrofuturism, because Afrofuturism is a visual art. So I wanted to make music that could be a representation of that aesthetic.
Wow. I do not understand the kind of head that thinks like yours, to be honest with you. And I'm so glad you touched on your project, the elevation of Kendrum, when you describe it. And I really want our audience to watch this, because it really is the elevation of Kendrum. Like, you've been born, right?
Thank you.
And,
thank you.
Yeah, it's such an amazing project. And some people that have watched those videos, because you have them on YouTube right now, have described you as you rightly said, your inspiration, like Manudi Bango, Burna Boy, though, West Adiko, I think from Cameroon, Fela Kuti, all the greats, but from different parts of the world. I can't even understand the head that's able to do this and the kind of mindset, but this is really inspiring. So talk to me a little bit about where you see this kind of music, taking roots in the global music scene. I don't know if I'm making sense, because you look at Burna Boy.
Yeah, of course.
He have coined his own thing, right? And Manudi Bango created his own form of jazz. Fela Kuti has his own, even West Madiko. Where do you see yourself, your genre going, and the future of this Afrocentric kind of music?
Right. So, a lot of people have a desire to experience new things, right? And the creatives are usually a conduit for that. And my genre, it creates a space where, listening to that music or dancing to that music could pull you into a world that's different, not and submersive, for you to experience culture, African culture in a sonically different way, musically in a sonically different way. And the electronic part of it just adds that more global taste to it. Something, it's that glue that's such a big movement as well. The electronic music in Africa is huge. And, the pioneer in that right now, the guy who's really doing it, big, real big, is a South African musician called Black Coffee. His music and mine are not that far apart, but, when you listen to it. But I believe, from what I've witnessed, from the reactions I've got from non-Africans, here in Los Angeles, is they find it very refreshing. And I've had someone, Mexican American girl, told me she listened to one of my songs and it made her feel like she was connected to her ancestry, right? And funny enough, the name of that song is "My Grandfather Was a King," right? I made it to sound that way. I wanted to evoke that for myself. And being able to provide that to the world as a form of music and entertainment is really the goal. I just want to inspire people through music. In the electronic world and Africa and the Afro music world, it's just for me, a perfect fusion to carry my music.
I like that. It's a vehicle. Yeah. And when I listen to your music, I mean, when I introduced you, I was like drum roll. Yeah, because yeah, like Ken drum. What is the
Right,
drum?
right,
Ken,
right,
is there
right.
a particular instrument that stands out for you?
Yeah, the drum. The
Okay.
drum. I love making drums on my electronic music device or instrument, which is called Logic Pro. When people say, "What instrument do you play?" I say, you know what? In today's day and age, modern technology, the instrument I play is called Logic, and it's a digital, device. It's a
Right.
digital software. Anyway, yeah, I love creating drums and the patterns because, like from where we grew up, the driving instrument behind a lot of our music are the drums and the pattern and the energy that they evoke.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed that as a kid.
Yes.
And I take so much pleasure when I start a song. Usually, most of them I start off with the drums, and I want that. I always want that to just, have that effect on me,
Yes.
and so I also believe that giving things a name. When you give something a name, you make it real. So by calling myself Kendrum, I'm an embodiment of the drum itself. So
Wonderful.
yeah,
I was just thinking, you said something about your grandfather being a king, and
right,
you utilize that. And I'm so happy you did that because, it's been said, if you don't tell your story, someone else will tell your story however they want. And so I'm really happy that that was an inspiration, or maybe I didn't capture it well, but you can talk more
yeah,
about that. Because as Africans, we our identity has literally been stolen and we have given it away.
hmm
Our tribes have not been acknowledged. We are not where we should be. We are not the people that we should be. We have been broken down based on colonial masters' ideas and exploitation, as you know very well.
hmm
So
hmm
now do you see that it's important for artists to tell the African story, kind of like
yeah.
art and activism? Do you find yourself in that as an artist and also an activist in some way? Because when you talk about activism, people always think about going to the marches, and that's not really true.
Yeah. No,
Art,
no.
yeah. Do you see that infused in your music? Because your music is strong.
Yeah, I absolutely agree because, like I said, that particular song, "My Grandfather Was a King," I've had multiple people who are not even necessarily friends just reach out and say when they listen to that song, it pulls them into an ancestral state, and it's so maybe, and it's the most Cameroonian or traditional song on the project. And I wanted to showcase that. I wanted to create that space for people to be a part of, to share in my heritage, because like you said, it's been hidden for so long. And it's just a beautiful thing how well African music is starting to do or has been doing for quite some years now. And my music, contributing to that momentum and participating even in activism, cultural activism or whatever category we want to describe it, you know, it's more than I could have asked for, honestly. Because when I make a song, when I make music, there's so much pride, and that's one of the fears that I have when creating is I want to express everything that I can at this very moment, so people can feel what I represent as an African man. And and absolutely why the album is also called Elevation of Kendrum, and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very compelling. I'm just curious though, as an African man in the United States,
Right.
and you have to compete with the African artists in Africa, and then you
Mm-hmm.
also have to compete with your African American, the black music, the hip hop, the pop,
Yeah.
and all of
Right.
that.
Right.
How challenging is this? And how do you work around those obstacles?
Right. Well, you create a genre called Electro Afro-Funk, so you create a whole niche for yourself. That's where you
Yes.
start, right? You find you create a niche for yourself and your own sound, and And so what happened? One of my promotional videos for releasing the album was I released it the same day as the giant Kendrick Lamar's album was releasing, right? And I said, I said I didn't care if Jesus, if Mary and Joseph were dropping Jesus that same Friday, I'm releasing my music that same day too. The reason why I was bold enough to say that is because my music has nothing to do with what Kendrick Lamar's music is, right? It's not the same genre at all. It's not even the same state of mind when someone chooses to listen to my music. So we're not even competing in emotional space. We're not even competing in creative space. It's completely different. I don't even have that much lyrics in this particular project. It's probably 80% just instrumental. And the way I compete, that's my competitive advantage. Sometimes I don't want to listen to music with lyrics. Right. That's why I made this music. Sometimes I just want music with flurry of things and just instruments and all these interesting things happening in the background or in full concentration mode, and that's what I wanted to make. I want to make music you can play at a lounge. I want to make music people can play on a boat and not necessarily have someone singing, but just to create an atmosphere, So, yeah.
And that's why I said you didn't go for the choir, right?
No, I didn't go for the choir. No, not on this project.
Yeah,
on this project.
I mean, that's pretty audacious of you. And now I understand why you decided to create your music and to release it the way you do. You're pretty confident of your product. And I can see and I can feel that. What do you want audiences to take from your music? Is there a message?
Well, okay. So I want, the reason why it's very instrumental is because I want people to, I want to indirectly or directly have people to have an opportunity to experience and create whatever stories they want when they listen to it. That's why it sounds very visual. I know that sounds like, like opposite thing to say, it's contradictory thing to say, but it sounds very visual. When you hear a song on the album, I want it to evoke whatever it is that it evokes for you. I want you to see whatever it is you want to see and experience emotionally whatever you want to experience. I want people to take from it that they too are creative, even as an audience. I want to evoke creativity, and to see that it's okay to create however you please and to, create fusions of worlds that people wouldn't even think of possible, or not even combining worlds, maybe just create a whole new thing, and I just want people to be inspired when they listen to it because of how I think bold I had to be to make it sound the way it sounds. I say, what, if Kendrum is doing it and making me feel this way, why not? Maybe I'll make shoelaces from straw. I don't care what they want to get inspired to do, but I just want people to, feel inspired and creative when they listen to it.
You're truly inspiring. I want to take off your t-shirt. I want to see the full image there. What is that image?
Oh, this is my logo. Okay. Maybe I should get a little closer. Okay, yeah, this is my logo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
that's me, and that's a lightning bolt. And the reason for that is the lightning bolt represents the universe talking to me, and I being a conductor, a receiver of that communication.
Are you sure you were born by my parents? Because you are just on your own planet. I love that you created your own universe. I want you to talk to the younger Kendrum, okay, who you knew as Paul Jr., Ken. Ooh. Right? Yeah, okay. I want you to talk to that little boy and in essence, talk to young minds who have this dream and don't have family to support them. I mean, when you're born in the United States, if you have musical talent, your family will invest and send you to piano school and this and that. We don't come from that. You tell your parents you are artists are like, he's going to be a dropout and all whatnot. What do you want to give creatives who are passionate about art or something that they love and they need that inspiration?
I'll tell them the key to it is just to learn how to be patient for through the entire process. You learn to be patient, to accept yourself as an artist, and because it's a scary thing. It's really scary because it's the longest and most difficult part to do, because if you accomplish that part, the lack of support that you would inevitably run into wouldn't impact you as much. So you need to be patient and be very observant of your own growth as an artist, and accepting that as well. And how bad you are as an artist is also okay. You're supposed to be terrible at some point, and even when you've attained mastery, you don't be surprised if you have to go back and relearn to create something different. So just patience through your entire journey. And it's okay to hide your artistry at first from people, because you need to protect your learning phase. That's why definitely you didn't know for a while that I was working on being a musician, right? It's because I was trying to protect myself, right? You have to protect yourself, because people at first wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't understand it because you're still incompetent, right? So while you're being an apprentice of your craftsmanship, it's okay to protect yourself by not sharing it to everybody. Find people who are close, who are supportive, who can listen or watch, or and give you positive feedback and give you negative feedback, or even just understand that it's also important to know when to come out, because the lack of enthusiastic reception could cripple you if you're not ready yet. And again, it goes back to the first thing I said, is be patient and with accepting yourself as an artist, because it doesn't come that easily at first. It takes a while to accept that.
I like that. I learned something. Coming out. You got to know when to come out.
You got to know when to come out. You have to know when to come out.
Yeah. No, it's really important. I'm so proud of your work, and I'm proud of the fact that you did not care whether Kendrick Lamar was releasing or not. Kendrum. I don't care if Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are coming down. I am Kendrum. Yes. You own that. You're going to have one audience, one listener, one fan. Yep. You're good with that, right?
I'm perfect.
That is that level of a little arrogance, yes. Which I think an artist needs. Do you agree?
Absolutely. You need it. You're supposed to have it. Everybody is supposed to have a good dose of that.
Arrogance.
So yeah, of course. You're supposed to. If you don't have it, then you need to get back to work.
That's amazing.
And build up some arrogance. You need to build some arrogance. Because when you're creating anything, a business or whatever, your biggest critic will be yourself, and you need to be arrogant enough to not listen to it. Mm-hmm. You listen to it sometimes, but for you to remove yourself and recenter back to that place, it's going to take some arrogance to do that. Because the truth is, you're not that good at first. You're really not. You're still an apprentice. You're always going to be some kind of apprentice. So for you to just continue trudging along like you're that thing, you need arrogance.
Exactly. And if you show people that you believe in yourself, they will believe in you.
They will feed up that energy. Yes, because people, and there are certain things you put out there that is you can't fake. People can just tell, right? Mm-hmm. Even in your product, whatever it is you present, people can see the lack of confidence in it. They can hear the lack of confidence in it, and a good way to deal with that, with practice, of course, but with arrogance too. So
hey, let's just call it what it is. So what's next for Kendrum after the elevation of Kendrum? Because where do you go from here? Is it going to be the genre? Is it going to be, that's an album, right? The Elevation of Kendrum. Are you working on anything new, or what are you doing right now?
Okay.
You're pushing this one for now.
Yeah. So yes, we're pushing this one right now, and I'm also working on the follow-up album for this, which I'm having so much fun doing. I had a thought today actually. I was saying, hey, wait, you're too locked in. I mean, what would you call album mode, right? And I'm like, oh, there's a conflict of interest here. If I have 10 units of energy and I'm using 7 for the Elevation of Kendrum and I'm sparing 3 for this potential album, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Maybe I should, hit pause on whatever it is I'm working.
Exactly.
But you can't do that for creativity. It's just going to bite me one day and I'll have to make something else. So I'm outside of pushing the Elevation of Kendrum. I'm working on the follow-up album for this, which surprisingly is almost done. But yeah.
Whoa. This is just amazing. It's so funny. Artists always say artists, you see them, the quiet, but the fire in them. When I think of you, I think of this quiet, gentle junior. But then when you're in your space, it's a monster that's coming out there. So I want others to enjoy. So let's talk about how, people can access your music and how they can get to communicate with you.
Yes. Starting off my social media, it's Kendrum Music. That's IG, that's Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. And you can find the music, the Elevation of Kendrum, on all platforms. If you go on my IG, you can hit the link in there. You see a nice little page that has a little, summary of what to expect my music to sound like, and all the links you can follow: YouTube, Apple Music, iTunes, whatever it is your platform is, to go experience some elevation for yourself as well.
Amen. Let's elevate. Let's all elevate.
Yes.
Thank you, Kendrum. I'm incredibly proud of you and what you've achieved with this creation. I hope many people get to see just how talented you are. Okay.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Good luck with everything. And I can't wait to see what's next. I don't know where you go after elevating. I don't know into the clouds. I don't know what the light comes, but I'm excited for you, brother. And good luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sis. It was amazing. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And talk next time.
We've come to the end of our show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if so, please share your opinions with me in the comment section or send me an email at publisher@immigrantmagazine.com. I hope that you subscribe and invite others to subscribe to this new and revolutionary channel, Team TV, Voice of Immigrants in America. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram @Pam Anchang, and like us on Facebook, The Immigrant Magazine. See you next time on Immigrant Magazine Weekly.